Lark Bahar here. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to actually show you guys again in a new high quality video how to wet set your hair. So the difference between the very first video that I filmed, that wet set tutorial, and this wet set tutorial is that my haircut is completely different, and that should be noted. The first one, my hair was much longer. And now I have an authentic Middy haircut. If you've never heard of the Middy haircut, I would definitely suggest Googling it, particularly if you're interested in vintage hairstyling and you are feeling ready for the commitment to wet set or heat set your hair weekly all the time, because it's not the kind of haircut that looks that, that appealing when it's not in its beautiful 50s or 40s wet set. So that aside, this wet set will be a very authentic demonstration of what would have been done back then, since I have the exact haircut, and it's going to be a lot faster than my last one as well, just because I have so much less hair and it's a lot easier now to set it. So thank you for visiting my blog and my YouTube, and welcome. So when setting my baby Middy haircut, I always start with completely wet hair. This hair is slightly damp still because I just showered, but I like it to be completely wet just because I find that the set lasts a bit better that way. And because it's so short at the moment, it dries pretty quickly, and I usually don't have to wait that extra day that I have to wait for my longer hair to properly set whenever I do it from completely wet hair. So the first thing you'll need, if you have dry hair, and I keep it on hand anyway because my ends tend to dry out really quickly, is a spray bottle full of water. Then I personally use hairpins, just your basic standard hairpin. And then for a setting spray, I use Garnier Fructis's Curl Shape, which is just a curl defining spray gel. You can also use other things like Lotta Body lotion or anything like that, whatever works for your hair for a wet set. I suggest experimenting and seeing what works. But I personally like this one. It's cheap, easy to find, and my hair lasts a whole week with it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. So begin with this spray bottle and make sure that all areas are as damp as you need to get them. And I usually do it by layer, so I don't worry about completely making the bottom layer damp. And then you're going to begin sectioning off and setting once you have however you part your hair in place. I personally do a side part for this, but of course a middle part would work as well. So with this side part, my basic diagram is that the top of the hair is going to have standing pin curls going in that direction. If you need help with pin curls, how to pin curl, the difference between standing pin curls, flat pin curls, anything like that, I would suggest Googling it, or in the blog post associated with this YouTube, which you can find at misslarkbahar.com, I'll go ahead and link to my previous post, which includes a pin curl diagram and the original video, which goes into depth in a very lengthy way about how to do it all. For now, basic principle is standing here, and then it's going to be flat around the head. The difference between this tutorial and the original one is that the direction of the pin curls around the head are going to be different. So I'll discuss that as each piece comes along, just so that you remember how it goes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So have the hair thoroughly sprayed, and then apply your spray gel, setting lotion, whatever you're using to the parts that you're going to be setting, and be sure you don't forget your roots. If you have a comb or need a comb, you can go ahead and go through it just to make sure that the product is saturated everywhere. But that's not necessary if you have the proper baby Middy haircut, or even the Middy, because it really won't get tangled. There's not much hair there. So, go and open my pins. and get started. The top head of the head with the standing is going to have 2 here and then 2 right behind it. And an important thing to note about standing pin curls that I don't think I've noted before, if you direct them off base like this, so if you pull it back, the pin curl is rolling in this direction, that way, but then you pull the hair back this way, then it's going to add even more volume. So you'll see that curl. There's a hole through it if I tilt my head back, and it looks like this from the side. The bigger you make that pin curl, the bigger of a swoop you're going to get, which is ideal for the way I set my hair personally. I like my bangs to have a little oomph in them.
Poets write fancy things about love, they complicate it so.
Love c'est la vie en rose.
Love just is, I know. Love is a simple thing, love is a silver ring, shiny as a ribbon bow, soft as a quiet snow. Love is a nursery rhyme, old as the tick of time.
Alright, so now that I have these 4 done, you'll see 4 standing curls. They should be the shape of tubes when they go around. So make sure you don't pinch any of it or anything like that. And make sure you don't twist it. They should be flat, round, and pinned in there. And these are going to be a bit looser, so they might fall out, but just pin them if you need to, you know, add all the pins you need and you'll be good to go. So after that, I do one more standing curl. I take a smaller square section right here. It's a bit dry, so I need to spray again. Again, the root, this would be straight out, but since I want to get a little extra volume at the root, I start it going up this way and roll down like that. See? It's just a smaller version of the other curls that I created. And once you finish this section, it'll be like you have 2 parts right there plus one little tiny one there. And you should be good to go. Now the rest of the hair is just going to be flat pin curls. So I'm going to respray. And then go section by section. The way I section off my hair is the top, and then sectioning off at about here on each side. This front part will be a section, this front part will be a section, and then all of the back. This side, everything is going to be rolled going this way. So you want to make sure you don't take strands that are too large, but just make one row here, one row here. I'm going to get up again so that I'm closer to the screen and you can see what I'm doing for this first one. So I take the piece right under that standing pin curl, direct it away from the direction I'm going so that it has more of a curve, and I wrap it around my finger. And this one, I barely wrap into a curl. Because it's going to be so short in the front, it's going to be difficult to get a large curl, but you don't want it to be too tight. If it's too tight, then it's going to be more like a 30 set around your hair instead of the 50s that I personally go for with the flip. So then I take the strands that start up here and roll them in line with this flat pin curl here, even though the hair starts higher. This gives a little flat area and it keeps it from getting too puffy, so it's all puff, 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 puff everywhere. And same principle all the way around. Make the original loop as large as you can so that the set comes out nice and loose and flippy when you pull it out instead of tight and 30s. Now if you have sleeker hair than I do, thinner, straight instead of curly, then you might want to do a tighter loop. That would be the only difference, because then it'll hold the curl a bit better for you and your hair is going to be more prone to falling out naturally anyway.
So many things, bright as an angel's wings, gentle as the morning light, long as a winter night. Love makes an old heart sing.
So now you should have 3 loops there. And that's usually about when I stop that side. Sorry, had an itch. And then here, same thing. I can barely get it around 2 of my fingers, but I kind of fake it and then set it down. And with the baby Middy, 1 loop is basically as long as that strand of hair is. So once I've made that circle with it, I can just lay it down and pin it instead of having to roll it up more. And these are still all going in that direction.
And it fills every empty space. Love is a warming place. Love is a simple thing.
So here is one side completed. Now the other side. So this side isn't going to have any standing curls on the side whatsoever, and the goal here is to, when I brush it out, have the hair swoop around the face in this direction and end up curling around my cheek that way, which is what also happens with these standing curls up here. But again, I don't want that excessive bubbly volume on the side because my hair is too short for that. So for the dropped crown look, with that swoop on the side, these are going to go in that direction, so forward instead of back like the other side. So take the first strand, pull it this way, and then even though you're starting from higher strands of hair, you still want to take it in a large loop and then lay it flat this low. So it should match up to the other side.
Love, c'est une simple chose. Love, c'est un bouquet de roses, brillant comme un beau diamant, comme de la neige qui tombe doucement. Love, c'est un d'enfant.
Alright, so now this side is done. They're all flat. You'll see that this part, the hair is pinned lower than that so that this part is going to be nice and smooth. It makes sense the way you set this. And it might look a little dorky with this hang-in curl, but you know, You gotta do what you gotta do for beauty. So now I'm going to turn around and show you what to do with the back of your hair. And it's going to follow the exact same principles as these sides, but instead of having all of the curls either going back or all of the curls going forward, they're going to alternate, which is how I do my longer set all around my head with the exception of top, which is always standing pin curls. So let me grab these and show you the back.
Comme le tic-tac, tic-tac du temps. Love, c'est un million de franges blancs comme des ailes d'ange, comme une nuit de mai, fait pour des gens de paix.
So when you look at the back of your hair, you should notice that you have a bit of a part going around here. And it doesn't matter if that's a straight part or anything like that. This isn't actually a terribly complicated set like I've said, so you can be a bit messier with it and it'll still look okay as long as you keep your loops perfect and keep them in the same direction that I have. Then your hairdo should be very similar to mine. So you start with a square of hair just like you did in the front. And you can start from either side, but since this top line is going forward, I like to try to keep, and then this one is going back, I like to try to keep that line going around with all the pin curls going in the same direction. So I start on that side, grab a square of hair, and you'll see this hair is much shorter than the bottom one, when in reality they're actually very similar lengths the way that it's cut. But if you have a Middy haircut, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So you take that strand and it's going to roll in this direction. And since I like the drop crown, I want it to be at least as low as these pin curls here on the side. And the back of the hair will probably look messy with a few strands falling out because the hair is so short, but that's okay. I always double check at the end and it's really easy to fix up those pin curls.
T'as chanté les vieux cœurs, banni tous les gens moqueurs. Love, c'est un coin charmant. Love nous rend tous contents.
Love is a simple thing. Love is a silver ring, more fun than a puppet show, bright as a scarlet bow.
So that's the first level going in that direction to my left. Now the next one is going to go to my right using the exact same idea.
Love is the thunder and rain. Love is a soaring plane. Love is a pink balloon, sad as an old buffoon, wild as a storm at sea. Love is sheer insanity. Love is a touch of spring, and it gives you a sudden grace. Love is a special face. Love is a simple thing.
Now I will note one very important thing here. The bottom of the hair will tend to split unless you try to keep the hairs that are lining the bottom of your scalp going in the same direction. So just like the top, I wanted them all to face here from side back to side. The bottom, I'll also want to make sure that everything faces this way, swooping around the bottom. That way, when you pull your hair out, nothing's going to split in the back, which this wet set is very wont to do. So this curl right here, although everything else has been going in that direction, you want that curl to go in that direction. So it's going to be going with all of the others. So now the next row all goes that way.
Love is the simple thing, love is a silver ring.
Brillant comme un beau diamant, comme de la neige qui tombe doucement.
Love makes an old heart sing,
and it gives you a sudden grace. Love is a special face. Love is a simple thing.
And now, love is seen through the eyes of a Charles Addams character.
Now these last strands at the very bottom, are going to go in this direction, with the exception, of course, of this very last strand, just to blend it in on this side. So that one is going to go towards the left side of my face, just like all the others have along that line. And then the rest will go to my right.
Love is a simple thing. Love is a poison ring, shiny as a lizard's tongue, quiet as a man who's hung. Love is so great and grand, soft as a mummy's hand.
There we go. So now this is the time, this is a great example right here, to go through your hair, and you can usually either feel any stragglers, or you can take a mirror like this one and look at the back of your head. And I pretty much promise that you will get stragglers with this hairdo. Just don't worry about it. Feel which direction they're curling and pin them in place. I don't even do this part with a mirror, honestly, because I can always feel what's loose.
Love is the raven's croak, sweet as the poison oak, brighter than a coffin nail, gay as a widow's wail.
Even if there aren't stragglers, I personally like to pin anything that feels like it might fall out, because I do sleep on this set. The hairs, the curls around the nape tend to fall out very easily, so that those are prime candidates for overpinning, so to speak. Right. So there we go. There is my classic wet set for the baby Middy haircut, and my go-to sort of lark hairdo where it has that 50s flip. So come back for my next video, which I'll be uploading next week, to see how I brush out this hairdo and what products I use and stuff like that. So thank you for watching. I hope this video helped. I hope that you can show me, link me, whatever you'd like. Tell me how this wet set worked for you, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Love is the mating call when you've sealed him in the wall. Love is a